VS series intensity tool. Load in and connect to the intensity tool simulator. In this example, we will inspect the printing on an electronic component to make sure it's not too faded and present. And we'll use the intensity tool to perform this example application. So from the inspection section of the task, add from the presence absence category the intensity tool. It's also available generically in the function list, but you will find this in the presence absence category as well. So if you want to click the little help icon, you can get an explanation of how this tool works from the manual. So I'll just click this real quick and show you. It opens the HTML manual. So basically, the intensity tool is going to measure the average, maximum, minimum, and deviation of intensity or brightness in the region. So you'll set a region, and it will report back all that information, and then you can put pass-fail tolerances on it. So go ahead and add the intensity tool. And this is a grayscale-based tool, so it's used with grayscale cameras or a color camera that's been converted to gray, but it gives you the grayscale brightness information. All right, so we'll change the region to circle to match up to our surface here. Now in this example, we're not using any position corrections because the part's being presented in a fixture, so we don't need any position adjustment for this one. So we're just going to add the intensity tool. So draw your circle inspection region in the area of interest, like so, and then click OK. You can see now that we have our region set, you can see the information down here in the tool results here. So the gray intensity average, so the intensity of the brightness average, in this example is about 208, as you can see here. And the brightness, of course, is a value from 0 to 255, 255 being the brightest and 0 being the darkest. It also calculates an intensity deviation. So you can see in this target. Now, for example, this image number 1 we'll consider our OK target, and the others we'll consider no good. So image number 1, so look at image number 1, and this is going to be considered the OK target. All right, so the maximum intensity in this region is 55, so the white, and then the minimum is 29. So you can see the information displayed here. Now, the last step then, or the next step, is to simply set your judgment criteria. So what is the pass-fail criteria? So if image number 1 is considered our good target, you can see our average intensity is about 208. So I'll set an upper limit of 210 and on a lower limit of maybe 206 for now. You can always adjust this later, but adjust this according to your settings here. It should be pretty close, but if it varies, just set a tolerance that's plus or minus a few ranges, a few intensity ranges here. So you can see if we play through these images, you can see the intensity value, or average intensity. If it drops out of our upper and lower limit range, the part will fail, and it only passes if it's correct. Now you can also put other judgments like on the deviation and the min-max if you'd like. As a default, they're hidden, but if you click this display hide judgments, you can activate the other limits if need be. So for example, the deviation. Maybe the good deviation, we want a good deviation of 81 or so in that range. This is the good part. So we could also put a tolerance on that, for example, if we wanted to. So I'm just going to put maybe 85 for the upper, maybe 80 for the lower. So that can also be a good pass-fail criteria here to determine if there's enough deviation. The lower the deviation is, the less change there is, and maybe that also indicates a lighter printing. So if I play through these images, you can see the intensity deviation also is lower in this case because there's not as much deviation as far as brightness. And then here's the print is missing, so the deviation is very low. The average intensity is very high because it's missing the print. But so you can see we're passing and failing our target correctly. So the intensity tool could be a nice simple tool for presence absence, or just to check for brightness, or maybe just want to monitor the brightness of a certain surface. It could be a handy tool. But again, just to summarize, it will report back the average brightness or intensity in the region, the deviation, and then the max and min, and then you can put your judgment criteria accordingly.